Your mind is at war and anxiety is winning. Right now, while you're listening to this, anxiety is running 1,000 scenarios in your head. What if you fail? What if they judge you? What if everything falls apart? What if you're not enough? Your heart races over things that haven't happened. Your chest tightens over futures that don't exist. Your sleep disappears into a black hole of overthinking. And here's the part that's destroying you. You think this is normal. You think everyone lives like this, constantly bracing for impact, constantly preparing for disaster, constantly running from a threat that only exists in your imagination. But it's worse than you think, because anxiety isn't just stealing your peace, it's stealing your life. Every moment you spend anxious about tomorrow is a moment you're not alive today. Every opportunity you avoid because, what if it goes wrong, is a piece of your potential you'll never get back. Every relationship you sabotage because you're afraid of getting hurt is a connection lost forever. You're not living, you're surviving, and surviving is not what you were built for. 2,000 years ago, the Stoics faced the same war. Marcus Aurelius commanded armies while anxiety whispered that he'd lose everything. Epictetus lived in chains while fear told him he was powerless. Seneca faced exile while dread promised he'd die alone. But they discovered something that modern therapy is just now confirming. Anxiety is not your enemy. Your response to it is, today you're going to learn the 7 brutal Stoic laws that will kill anxiety forever, not manage it, not cope with it, kill it. These aren't affirmations. These aren't breathing exercises. These are weapons. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to use them. Watch until the end. The law you skip might be the one that saves you. Let's go to war. First law, anxiety lives in the future. You live in now. Listen to me carefully. 99% of what you're anxious about exists only in your imagination. It hasn't happened. It might never happen. But you're destroying yourself today over a tomorrow that doesn't exist. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Your mind is running simulations of disaster on repeat. What if you lose your job? What if the relationship ends? What if you embarrass yourself? What if you fail? Every scenario is a knife wound to your peace, and none of them are real. Think about this. How many things were you anxious about last year? How many of them actually happened? And the ones that did happen, did the anxiety help? Did worrying about it change the outcome, or did you just suffer twice? Once in anticipation and once in reality. Anxiety is a con artist. It promises to protect you from the future by making you suffer in advance. But it's lying. The future doesn't exist yet. It's a blank space your mind is filling with horror stories, and you're believing every word. Here's the Stoic weapon: presence. Not the Instagram kind, the brutal kind. You pull your attention out of the future and you anchor it in this exact moment. Right now, in this second. Are you okay? Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. This breath, this heartbeat, this moment. The answer is almost always yes, because anxiety cannot survive in the present. It needs the future to feed on. It needs uncertainty to grow. But when you lock yourself into now, anxiety starves. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man in the ancient world, woke up every morning and reminded himself, confine yourself to the present. He wasn't telling himself to ignore responsibility. He was commanding himself to stop living in hypothetical futures, to handle what was actually in front of him, not what might be. Practice this. When anxiety rises, ask yourself 3 words. Am I okay right now? Not in an hour. Right now. Your mind will fight you. It will scream about all the things that could go wrong. Ignore it. Demand an answer about this moment only, and watch anxiety lose its grip. You are not your thoughts about the future. You are what you do right now. Reclaim now. Anxiety dies there. Second law, you control nothing except your response. Accept this or stay anxious. You know why you're anxious? Because you're trying to control things that were never yours to control. The outcome, other people's opinions, the future, the past, the economy, your health, your success. You're gripping so tight your knuckles are white, trying to force reality to bend to your will, and it never does. This is the trap. You believe if you just worry enough, plan enough, control enough, you can prevent bad things from happening. But you can't. You never could. And the effort to control the uncontrollable is what's breaking you. Epictetus taught the dichotomy of control, and it's the most liberating truth you will ever learn. There are things you control: your effort, your choices, your reactions, your character. That's it. Everything else, outside your power, completely. You don't control whether you get the job. You control how well you prepare for the interview. You don't control whether they love you back. You control whether you show up with honesty and integrity. You don't control whether the plane crashes. You control whether you live fully before you board it. You don't control the diagnosis. You control how you face it. Every time you attach your peace to something outside your control, you hand anxiety the keys to your mind. And anxiety will drive you into the ground. Epictetus was a slave. Literally, he owned nothing, not his freedom, not his body, not his future. Everything could be taken from him at any moment. And yet he became one of the most peaceful men in history. How? He released everything outside his control and mastered the one thing that was his response. He wrote, "Make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens, not as you wish it would happen, as it happens." This is the price of peace. Here's the brutal truth: let go or suffer. That's the choice. You can't control outcomes, so stop trying. Pour everything into the process, into the effort, into the action, and surrender the result. Marcus Aurelius ruled an empire and still wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." If the emperor of Rome couldn't control outcomes, what makes you think you can? Release the outcome, keep the effort. This is how you kill anxiety at its root. Third law, your thoughts are not reality. Stop believing them. Your anxious thoughts feel true. They feel urgent. They feel like warnings you need to listen to. But they're lies. Sophisticated, convincing, emotionally charged lies. And you've been obeying them your whole life. Anxiety tells you everyone's judging you. That's a thought, not a fact. You're going to fail. Thought, not fact. Something terrible is about to happen. Thought, not fact. Your mind generates thousands of thoughts per day. Most of them are garbage. And you've been treating garbage like gospel. Here's what's actually happening. Your brain evolved to keep you alive, not keep you happy. It scans for threats constantly. And in the modern world, where physical threats are rare, it invents psychological ones. It creates danger where none exists. It catastrophizes, it amplifies, it lies. And you believe it because it's your own voice, because it feels real, because the emotion is real, but emotion is not evidence. Fear is not fact. The Stoics practiced cognitive distancing. They observed their thoughts without becoming them. Marcus Aurelius wrote in his journal, "The things you think about determine the quality of your mind." He didn't say, eliminate anxious thoughts. He said, stop identifying with them. He would write things like, "Today I will encounter angry people, ungrateful people, selfish people." Not to be pessimistic, to prepare his mind, to remind himself that other people's behavior was their choice, not his problem. To separate observation from identification. Here's the weapon. When anxiety speaks, you respond with one phrase. That's a thought, not a command. You don't argue with it. You don't try to replace it with a positive thought. You just label it. Anxious thought, noted. Moving on. Your thoughts are like clouds. They pass. They change. They're not permanent. They're not you. Stop giving them authority over your life. You are not your anxiety. You're the awareness watching the anxiety. And awareness cannot be threatened. Observe your thoughts like a scientist observes data, detached, curious, unmoved. When you stop believing every thought your mind produces, anxiety loses its weapon. Fourth law, prepare for the worst, then act anyway. This sounds backwards. You think positive thinking kills anxiety. It doesn't. Hope without preparation is just another form of denial. And denial makes anxiety worse. The Stoics practiced premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. They imagined everything that could go wrong, not to torture themselves, to remove the shock, to kill the fear of the unknown. Seneca would lie in his bed at night and imagine losing everything, his wealth, his status, his friends, his life. Not because he wanted it to happen, but because he wanted to know he could survive it. He wrote, "The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive." You're anxious because you're afraid of what might happen, so face it. Right now. What's the worst possible outcome? Seriously, what is it? You lose the job. The relationship ends. You fail publicly. You lose money. People laugh. You get hurt. Now ask, can you survive it? The honest answer is almost always yes. You've survived every bad thing that's happened to you so far. You're still here, still breathing, still capable. And here's the truth. Anxiety doesn't want you to know. Most of what you fear won't happen, and the things that do happen are never as bad as the anticipation. The dread is worse than the reality. Always. When you pre-decide how you'll respond to the worst-case scenario, anxiety loses its power. You're no longer afraid of the unknown. You've already looked it in the face and planned your response. This is not pessimism. This is preparation. Warriors don't panic because they've already mentally rehearsed every battle before it starts. They've imagined defeat. They've imagined injury. They've imagined death. And they've decided how they'll respond. Anxiety feeds on uncertainty, so remove the uncertainty, plan for disaster, then act with courage anyway. Prepared warriors don't panic. Become a prepared warrior. Fifth law, move your body or your mind will destroy you. You think anxiety is mental. It's not. It's physical. It's adrenaline trapped in your nervous system with nowhere to go. Your body is screaming for release and you're sitting still, letting it eat you alive. Your ancestors faced physical threats, a predator, an enemy, a natural disaster, and when the threat appeared, they ran or they fought. The stress hormones flooded their system. They moved, the hormones discharged, and they returned to baseline. But you face psychological threats, a deadline, a presentation, a difficult conversation, a text that hasn't been answered, and the stress hormones flood your system the same way. But you don't move. You sit at your desk, you lie in bed, you scroll your phone, and the chemistry stays trapped in your body, poisoning you from the inside. The Stoics knew this. Marcus Aurelius trained physically every day, not for vanity, for mental clarity. Epictetus taught that the body must be conditioned rigorously so it doesn't betray the mind. When anxiety hits, you have two choices: move or spiral. Most people spiral. They sit with the anxiety. They think about the anxiety. They analyze the anxiety, and it grows. Here's the weapon: movement, immediate, physical, intense. Walk fast, run, lift something heavy. Do push-ups until your arms shake. Cold shower, anything that forces your body to discharge the stress chemistry flooding your system. Anxiety is energy with nowhere to go. Give it somewhere to go. Your body was built to move. When you move, you signal to your nervous system, we're handling this, we're taking action, we're not under threat. Sitting still with anxiety is like revving a car engine in park. You burn out, move the car, move your body. The anxious energy will burn off like morning fog. This is not optional. This is biology. Respect it or suffer. Physical discipline kills mental weakness. Move your body. Save your mind. Sixth law. Suffering is optional. Pain is mandatory. Bad things will happen. That's not negotiable. You will lose things you love. People will disappoint you. Plans will fail. Life will hurt. That's pain. And pain is part of being alive. But suffering? Suffering is what you add to pain. It's the story you tell about the pain. It's the resistance, the why me, the catastrophizing, the belief that you can't handle it. That's suffering, and suffering is optional. Epictetus said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." Two people experience the same setback. One is devastated for months. One adapts in days, same event, different story, different outcome. Marcus Aurelius lost 8 children. 8. He faced plague, war, betrayal, and constant threats to his life. And he wrote, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." He didn't avoid pain. He used it. He turned obstacles into training, suffering into strength. Anxiety is anticipatory suffering. You're suffering over things that haven't even happened yet. You're creating pain in advance. And for what? It doesn't protect you. It just exhausts you. Here's the Stoic truth. Accept the pain. Reject the suffering. When something bad happens, you feel it fully. You don't numb it. You don't avoid it. But you don't add a story that makes it worse. You lost the job. That's pain. I'm a failure and I'll never succeed is suffering. Cut the story. Keep the reality. Handle what's in front of you without the drama your mind wants to attach. You got rejected. That's pain. I'm unlovable and I'll die alone is suffering. The first is true. The second is a story. Drop the story. Pain you can handle. Suffering is what breaks you. Stop choosing suffering. 7th law. Your anxiety serves someone else's profit. Stop feeding it. Here's what nobody tells you. Modern life is designed to keep you anxious. Every notification, every news cycle, every comparison on social media, every algorithm, it's all engineered to hijack your attention through fear and uncertainty. Anxiety is profitable. Anxious people click. Anxious people consume. Anxious people buy solutions. And the system knows this, so it feeds you a constant stream of threats. Political chaos, economic disaster, health scares, social comparison, celebrity drama, all of it designed to keep you on edge. The news doesn't report what happened. It reports what will make you afraid. Social media doesn't show you reality. It shows you a highlight reel designed to make you feel inadequate. Your phone doesn't serve you. It farms your attention for profit, and you're letting it. Every time you doom scroll, every time you check the news before bed, every time you compare your life to someone's curated lie, you're feeding the machine that's feeding your anxiety. The Stoics would burn this system to the ground. Seneca wrote, "To be everywhere is to be nowhere." Your attention is being fractured into 1,000 anxious pieces, and you wonder why you can't find peace. Marcus Aurelius had access to all the information in the Roman Empire. He chose not to drown in it. He chose selective attention. He chose what mattered and ignored the rest. Here's the weapon: ruthless input control. Cut the news to once per day maximum. Delete social media from your phone. Unsubscribe from every fear-based newsletter. Unfollow every account that makes you feel inadequate. Mute every person who trades in outrage. Your mind is not a garbage dump. Stop letting the world dump its anxiety into your head. Protect your attention like your life depends on it. Because it does. You can't control the world, but you can control what you allow into your mind. And when you cut the toxic inputs, Anxiety loses its fuel source. Guard your mind like a stoic warrior guards a fortress. Nothing gets in without your permission. Here's what happens when you apply these 7 laws. You stop living in the future and reclaim the present. You release what you can't control and master what you can. You stop believing every anxious thought your mind generates. You prepare for disaster so it can't surprise you. You move your body so anxiety can't trap you. You accept pain without adding suffering, and you protect your mind from the systems designed to keep you afraid. This is not therapy, this is war, and you're not trying to make peace with anxiety. You're killing it systematically, deliberately, permanently. Marcus Aurelius led armies into battle while carrying the weight of an empire. Epictetus survived slavery while building unshakable inner freedom. Seneca faced exile and death while maintaining complete peace of mind. They weren't special, they weren't superhuman. They just knew these laws. And now you do too. Anxiety will try to come back. It always does. But now you have weapons. Now you know the battlefield. Now you know that anxiety is not the truth. It's a liar. And liars don't survive when you stop believing them. Your mind is yours. Reclaim it right now, not tomorrow, not when you feel ready, now. You were not built to live in constant fear. You were built to face challenges, to grow through adversity, to become stronger with every battle. Anxiety wants you to believe you're fragile. You're not. You're a warrior who forgot their training. This is how Stoics kill anxiety. This is how you rebuild an unshakable mind. This is how you become someone anxiety can't touch. The war is over. You won. Now live like it. Drop in the comments, I control my mind. Anxiety controls nothing. Subscribe if you're ready to forge an iron mind. More brutal Stoic truths coming every week. Make it count.